Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm going to explain to you chapter 16, which is the class diagram. As we said, there are two diagrams we need to create in the design, built on what we created in the analysis. So from the analysis, the use case narrative, we realize it to get out of it the interaction diagram, which we talked about it last week. Today I'm going to talk about the class diagram. Class diagram is equivalent to the domain model. So we can create it from the domain model, but with the help of the interaction diagram. Because in the interaction diagram, let me show you some of the interaction diagram here. In the interaction diagram, we have, so here it's chapter 18 is the interaction diagram. So in the interaction diagram, we have messages, as you see. For instance, here we have messages here, all these messages, or something like here. These are the messages here. See, this is message, this is message, and so on. Or here. So these are the message here, which is in fact every message here, it must be a method. That's the rule. Every message coming from to a specific object, this method must be a method inside this class, the class of this object. Similarly here, so everywhere. Again here. So this should be here, this should be here, this should be here, and so on. So that's the main principle of so there is integration between the classes, which methods, and the classes create these objects, and these methods exist in the class. And if you remember from the intermediate programming, we have the methods inside the class where we can trigger it anytime by calling it. So here, this is what we call the design class diagram here. I'm not going to touch everything here except the important, because we don't have time. So this is what we have. This is a class, this is a class, and this is association. In this case, not like in the domain. In the domain, we don't put arrow here because that's conceptual, the real life. But here, this is software. This is going to be developed as a program. We can put arrow here, which is this one, looking at that one. Okay. What do we have? Terminologies. What's the class? What's the association? What's the attribute? You should know them now. Class is where we create object out of it, template to create the object. It has attributes, it has methods, and between them, the connection between the classes, it is association. It has method, attribute, and so on. So let us look at the difference between the domain and the class diagram. I mentioned this to you before. So the domain here, it is in the real life. See this line? This is real life. What do you see in front of you? You see board, you see computer, you see instructor. So that's the real life. But here, this is where we have as a software. So the difference, this is the real life, or we call it conceptual, but this is as a software. So we present this to the programmer to do the programming code. And this one developed during the analysis stage or phase, and this is during the design phase. And what else? This has no arrow. Maybe something here to say how you read it, but this arrow here, because this is connected to that software. The other thing, this has no methods, but this has methods here. So these are the difference between them, if you are required to answer this question. Okay. Now, if we go to the previous chapter, in the previous chapter we have several this is the chapter. As you see, there are several objects. Every object must be created from a class. So if I go through all the diagrams here to collect all these, which is in fact exists where? Exists in the domain model. Here. So we extracted this from the domain model. Okay. So all these require what? Require a class. Okay. Because we are going to create object, which is the object here in the diagram. This is the object. This is the object from the classes. Every object we created must have a class. So we should have now a class called register, class called cell. We come this to the multi-object later. But we have a class called cell line item. Okay. If we collect all the diagrams we have seen chapter 18, we can see there is register, there is product catalog, product store, payment, cell, product specification, and cell line item. And then each of these, when we use them as object, now must be created as class. How to create the class? We have it like this. So the class is 3 parts class. We put each one. We identify some of the attributes from the domain. We put them here. Okay. And then we are waiting for the filling up these, which are the methods. Where we get the methods from? As I said, which is the messages between the diagrams. So if I go through all the diagrams we created in the domain and the interaction diagram, then we come up with here, for instance, this example, register, send message called make line item to the cell. And then this must be a method. We put it where? And not from it coming from, it's where to go. Because I want to ask you about something you know, and so I send the message to you. Not the sender, but the receiver. That's where the method should be here. Be careful, this is very important. But here, this will be here. Make line item in the cell class. And this object created from the cell class. If I go through all the messages and the diagrams of the chapter 18 and the interaction diagram, then I will have all these in here. As you see here, we have the register, end cell, enter cell, make a new cell, make payment. If you remember all these, and if you see here, where is it? Here, and then you see here, make a new cell, enter item, end cell, make payment. All these must be methods inside the register here. Again, product catalog has get specification. Here, product specification, nothing here, not necessarily has methods. Store, add cell, and so on. So, are these enough? All of them? There are some missed methods. What the missed method? For instance, look at here. I am going to see one of the missing methods. مثلا ناخذ هذا. لاحظ هنا. If you look carefully there, you'll see here the create not exist. Create, add not exist, find not exist. If you go there, okay, and other things like if you go to here, where we go through them to see what they are. You see here, get price should be here. Product specification has no get price. Let me go. Product specification has no get price. So that means not every message you see them in the diagram it would be translated as method. What are the rules and what we exempt? Exempt means we don't include them. Okay, methods names شو كذا يعني we can read this note, very important. Method name create كذا كذا. Okay. Accessing methods. Yeah. You see there is get and set. We'll come to it. Method name multi-object as well. So these are these are what we exempt. Exempt every create. Exempt every access, get and set. Accessing method. Exempt every method go to the multi-object or used by the multi-object. Here عندك multi-object اللي هو we use, if you remember, I'm going to show you. If you remember, we have only few methods applied to the multi-object: add and find, because here array. So add and find, that would be. As you see, there is no create, there is no get and set accessing, there is no methods to the multi-object, because multi-object were not object, were array, and we send the message to the array. Each one we are going to discuss why, so you know what we exempt and why. exempt يعني نستثني منها أو ما نعتبرها معانا. فالcreation, why creation? Because the creation is very common activity. كل class لازم كل object ينصنع من class. And we use different languages, use different thing, but all lead to the same thing. So that means creator, which is the constructor, we use it to create the object. فإذا وين نستثنيها؟ ليش؟ لأنه ما في داعي. يعني أكيد هو الكلاس has create to create object. Maybe one create or more as overloaded methods. But I don't need to put them because the programmer, I'm talking to the programmer. The programmer know every class should have constructor. Even if we don't supply the constructor, it would be automatic constructor, default constructor would be used or added by the program, by the compiler. And then we exempt the create. Exempt what? The get and set. Why? Because they are a lot. If I have methods, if I have attributes for each class, for instance 10 or 8 or whatever, if each one needs set and get, يعني I end up with methods of 20 if it is 10 attributes. How many objects I have? I have مثلا 20 objects. مضربه ب10 مثلا هاي 200 methods get and set only. So احفظوا هاي الكلمة انه الجيت and set which is accessor and mutator يسموه accessor الجيت والميتوتر الset. وهنا عندنا ليش؟ لأنه high noise to value. ما تضيف لي value كبيرة للدايجرام ولكن noise. نعرف احنا الميثود إذا كانت برايفت نقدر نسوي له set or get. فإذا نشيلها أفضل حتى ما تزيد النويز اللي عندنا. تصير كراود الدايجرام كراود فما في داعي لهذا. والثالث هو الفايند والاد اللي هم للمالتي اوبجكت. ليش؟ لانه مثل ما قلنا هاي مو اوبجكت حتى خلي ميثود. هذه اري اطبق عليها شيء معين يعني ستراكشر معين. عرفنا نحفظهم ذولا اللي هم الكريت والاكسسنج ميثودز ومالتي اوبجكتس. والشرح مالتهم كل واحد هذا الشرح مالته الاول انه نقول common, very common activity, programmer know how to do it, and this accessors because they are high noise to value. وهنا because it is multi-object like array, so we'll find, and this is for the structure instruction, is not a method for a class. Independent language, يعني because why we write the UML, because it is independent of the language. We write it in a way بحيث انه مو because I am going to use Java, I put in the Java syntax. No, I put it in the syntax which they supply to me how to use it. Then every programmer can do it in any program language. Adding more information. Yeah. And the case tool تذكرون مثل عندنا مثلا visual paradigm. We need to have, it's possible to draw the diagram, the class diagram, but we need maybe put more information here. نعطي تفاصيل عن الميثود. يعني هذه return type of specification، هذه تاخذ شو اسمه الاتريبيوت البارامترز بهذا الشكل. Why? Because some packages they can create to me the program, and I give them this class diagram and they create to me the code. هذا قبل ما يطلع ال AI بعد أكثر، تعطيه صورة يطلع لك الكود. كانت من قبل صعبة يعني، فكانت بس الكيس تولز اللي هي تول معين مثل الفيجوال بارادايم أو غيره ممكن يحول كيها إلى كود، والجماعة يقولون واو كود. but now you can create the code easily. اللينك بيناتهم هي عبارة عن navigation يعني this can see this, so they can send message to that. But if there is no arrow here, you cannot send the message here. Call any of these methods. That means every in the domain, I go to the domain and see everyone connected to another one. I will see which direction was going to call. Then I put arrow and that's it. Common situation, not important. What's this? For the diagram, okay. فعندنا الدياجرام هذا ايش راح يكون عندنا؟ هذه ما نخليها، هذه ما نخليها، هذه كريت الاول اللي راح يصير اول ما يبدي السيستم. كريت هذه لازم نكريت الدياجرام هذا. شنو هاي؟ the creator of the another object very typically require an connection. Anyway, فخلي بعدين connection. أي method call another object, any object, so that must have an arrow for that. يعني هنا من هذه مثلا call this معناها there is a link between هذه الكلاس وهذه الكلاس بالكلاس diagram، لأنه في call بيناتهم. register والcell بيناتهم بلاين، واللاين بي arrow هنا بالكلاس diagram، وهكذا. لاحظين؟ تلاحظون شنو تلاحظين كلها؟ فإذا هنا عندنا ستور يروح إلى اليوزرز، وهذا كذا وهذا كذا وهذا كذا، كلها إذا رحنا للدايجرام شوف انتجريشن موجود بيناتهم. يعني الدايجرامات اللي سويناها هناك بالانتراكشن دايجرام أو هي الكلاس دايجرام يعكس لي الصورة اللي موجودة فيها. فإذا أنطي ذول الاثنين الكلاس دايجرام والانتراكشن دايجرام إلى بروجرامر يعني good programmer or medium programmer, just go create this class, create this class, and you see how this call that, and من الinteraction diagram how the call, and then create the diagram from here. Some notes here. Some of the dependencies, some of them like call this pass parameter or something, don't worry about that. Some, as I said, if you want to generate it from package, you may put the class, put it on details like that, because it will program it to you, because you have all the data, all these methods to be programmed. Minus تعتبر private وبلس تعتبر public. هذه الفيزيبيليتي، وحنشوف الثاني، وبهذا نكون خلصنا chapter 6. I'm going to talk to you about chapter 20. Let me put it here. Still we have 20 minutes. We did 20 minutes now. So let me go to chapter 20. Chapter 20 has very little slides we want to cover. This is chapter 20. I don't want you to look at anything here, except I want you to have one definition, which is here in slide number 5. So this is the reverse engineering. I want you to understand what's the reverse engineering. And usually we analyze the system, and then we create the design, and then from the design we create the code. Sometimes you have the code and you don't know what's the design matter. But sometimes you lost it or something, or old, whatever, and you want to regenerate it, then you have to make reverse engineering. يعني من الكود تفتهم الكود وتطلع منها الكلاسز، تطلع منها هذه الدايجرام بالعكس، يعني تطلع. هذه واحدة. الشيء الثاني اللي أريدك تتعلمه هو هذا سلايد نمبر 5 بال20 شابتر 20، وأريد تروح إلى السلايد الأخير هذا موجود فيه. هذا إذا يجيك بالإكزام يجيك بهذا الشكل، إنه السيكونس أوف writing the classes implementation here، يعني كبروجرامينج. يعني هو المفروض هذا الشابتر كله عن programming، تعرف شلون البروجرامينج، but I'm not going to teach you this. Only I teach you this, which is useful to you as well. So which one going to be created first؟ لأنه الclasses depend on each other. So which one is going to be created؟ يعني can I create this before this? No. We'll see why. Because this depend on that. So this depend on that. لازم this is created, then I use this one, and so on. Okay, how to do this? I don't know if I can make it. Can write on the here. There is something to write, I think. Okay. Not really. I have to. Okay. Anyway, so what do we have? Let us look at there. You know what? Find to me the arrows which are going out. Which one has arrow out? How many arrows out? As you see here, how many arrows out here? 0, because these are n. How many arrow out? 1. How many arrow out? 0. How many arrow out? 1, 2. Don't consider the coming in. How many out? 1, 2. How many out here? 1. How many out here? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I know now how many, the number of arrows going out. Based on this أرقمها كيف؟ أول ما أبدي اللي هي أقل وحدة بالأرو أوت. عشان دي أقل وحدة هي الزيرو، هذا زيرو أوت وهذا زيرو أوت كمان. تمام؟ فإذا هذا وهذا I can put number 1 و number 2, or I put number 1 و number 2, doesn't matter. So these are interchangeable. لأنه this is 0 arrow out, this is 0 arrow out. نجي على next منه. How many arrow here? 1 out. And this one 1 out. And this one and that one the same level comes after them. It could be this is 3 and 4, or this is 3 and 4. Now 2 arrow out. How many arrow? 1, 2. هذا 2. How many arrow here? 1, 2. And then 5 و 6 interchangeable. ولكن 7 بها 3. فإذا لازم 7 يجي. مو شرط هو 2 يكونون يعني بالهذا. يعني 2 قد يكون في نفس الليفل، يعني قد يكون 2 أو 1 أو many أو whatever. يعني you count how many arrows getting out. This is 0 يكون number 1. This is 0 يكون number 1. This is 1 يكون number 3. Yeah, number 2, number 3. Or this one 1, number 3. 2, this and that. And this is the 3. That's all. If I give you in the exam diagram like this, and I say number it, you number it this way. So I want you to know how to create the class diagram. Maybe I give you يعني the أصعب شيء ممكن أعطيك إياه أنه عندك diagram وتحولي diagram إلى class diagram. يعني تحولي هذا إلى class diagram. عندك شنو هذا؟ هذا عندك الأوبجكت يتحول إلى class، والميثود اللي جايته هذا ميثود تكون عند الميثود هذا، وهذا كذلك شنو الميثود جايته هي هذه، وهذه الميثود اللي جايته هي هذه، وهكذا. هذا ما أعتبره لأنه الفايند والاد I don't do the multi object, but I have a class here called cellline item, but it has no method add. It has cellline item, it has product specification كواحد وعليه ستار، انه multi عليه ستار هذا، وهكذا. ف I want you to practice this. If you have any question, I am in the university tomorrow إن شاء الله من الساعة يعني فاضي تقريبا من الساعة 10 إلى الساعة 1، الساعة 10 إلى الساعة 1. If you have any question, anything about this، فالداخل بالامتحان عندكم يوم الأربعاء هو ال chapter 18 chapter 17 ما داخل، يعني راح يجيكم بالامتحان بالنهاية. chapter 18 هذا ايش تحفظ من chapter 18؟ تحفظ منه هالأشياء اللي موجودة عندك، يعني مثلا عندك شلون ريالايز الأشياء هذه، الرسومات اللي موجودة عندك، مثلا هاي الرسومات اللي موجودة عندك، فرق بين الدومين والكلاس، الكونتراكت هذه بالنسبة للبروجكت ما تعمل كونتراكت، النيو سيل ممكن تجيك رسمة، هذه ممكن تجيك رسمة اللي هي انتر ايتم، هتكون بعد مثلا هاي رسمة get total هاي شنو make payment، يعني هالاشياء اللي قدامكم تشوفوها شنو هي هذه تعاريف شنو هي، يعني الاوبجكت والكلاس والاشياء والرياليزيشن what's the meaning of realization or whatever. اما chapter 16 فهو اللي هو الكلاسز وكيف تصنع من الانتراكشن كلاس، وما هو الكلاس والاوبجكت والاتريبيوتس والاشياء هذه، وليش some of the methods are not included، وهكذا.